What the fuck is up, you degenerates? Back for another deep dive, and today, well, it's this YouTube channel that's been blowing up my algorithm. Bald and Bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this guy.
Dude, his thumbnails. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You just can't look away. Yeah. So today, we're going to figure out who the hell this Mr. Bald is.
Okay.
What the fuck he's doing.
Right.
And why everyone and their mom seems to be glued to his channel. So you've done your homework on this guy.
Yeah, a bit. So Bald and Bankrupt.
Right.
It's the brainchild of this British dude,
Okay.
Benjamin Rich. Basically, your stereotypical middle-aged bloke,
Uh-huh.
shaved head and all that.
Yeah.
But instead of, downing pints at the pub, he's running around all these, really obscure corners of the world.
Really? Like where?
Oh, former Soviet countries, forgotten towns, the whole 9 yards.
Bankruptcy, baldness, and Belarus.
Pretty much.
Sounds like a recipe for a real shitty vacation.
Yeah, or a midlife crisis, I don't know.
So what's the deal with this guy?
Well, his story's kind of wild. He actually went bankrupt in the UK.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, after, a business or something tanked. And he just said, fuck it, shaved his head and started traveling. Began vlogging in India, actually. But then he, shifted his whole focus to those post-Soviet states, and that's when his channel really took off.
So he went from, British misery to post-Soviet adventures.
Yeah, basically.
That's one way to cope, I guess. But why those places,
It's not exactly, on anyone's travel bucket list.
No, not really. I think that's the whole point, right?
Okay.
He's not your typical travel vlogger, chasing Instagram likes.
Right.
This dude goes to places that most people wouldn't even think about visiting.
Right.
Abandoned factories, desolate landscapes. Hell, he even went to the Chernobyl exclusion zone.
Chernobyl, no shit. This guy's got balls, I'll give him that. But is it all, doom and gloom? Or does he find anything, interesting in these godforsaken places?
It's actually not all depressing, which is surprising.
He actually interacts with the locals a lot. And get this, he speaks their language.
What, like Russian?
Dude's a polyglot, apparently. Speaks a dozen languages or something.
That's insane.
So he gets these, super raw and unfiltered perspectives that you just wouldn't find in a travel guide.
Huh. So it's not just him pointing a camera at, crumbling buildings and complaining about the food.
No, not at all. It's more like watching a documentary, But it's happening in real time.
Okay, so there's actual, human interaction. He talks to people.
Oh, yeah, tons. He eats with locals, crashes weddings, even gets roped into some of their,
Their what?
Well, let's just say some of their cultural experiences.
Oh.
The dude's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
All right, I'm intrigued. So let's talk about some of these cultural experiences. What kind of shit has this guy gotten himself into?
Well, the Chernobyl thing is huge. He even wrote a whole book about exploring Pripyat, the ghost town.
Damn.
What else? There was this one incident in Bolivia, this town called Patamanta. Locals were warning him about some shady stuff going down, people getting burned.
Oh, for real?
And basically, he got chased out of town by these, sketchy dudes.
That's like my kind of place.
He also, he got detained at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
What, for trespassing?
Pretty much. And then he pissed off Putin somehow, got banned from Russia for a while.
What? How do you even manage that?
I think he called Putin crazy or something and donated to Ukraine.
Oh, shit. This guy's like a walking international incident waiting to happen. I'm surprised he hasn't ended up in a gulag somewhere.
Right. Oh, and get this. He had to apologize on camera to the Chechen authorities because he called a Chechen woman a chick. They did not find it amusing.
Jesus Christ, this dude's a magnet for trouble. But you got to admit, it makes for some entertaining content.
Totally. But it does raise some questions, is it exploitative? Is he being respectful to these people and cultures he's filming? It's a fine line he's walking.
Yeah, you can't just waltz into these places and treat them like your personal playground.
Exactly.
But at least he's not, faking it for Instagram likes.
That's true. And then there was that whole COVID thing.
Oh.
Remember when he was traveling to all those countries without lockdowns during the pandemic?
Yeah.
He got super sick, ended up in the ICU with multiple organ failure, almost died.
Shit. For real.
Yeah. I think he learned his lesson, though. He even made a video urging people to take the virus seriously after that.
Well, color me surprised. So I guess we've established that this Bald and Bankrupt dude is a pretty complex character.
Yeah.
A bit of an asshat, maybe, but kind of fascinating at the same time.
Definitely. He's got this raw, unfiltered approach that you just don't see in those, perfectly polished travel vlogs.
So are we saying he's a good guy? A bad guy? Or just a clueless idiot with a camera?
It's hard to say, but let's dig a little deeper into what makes his content so unique. I mean, we've talked about his choice of destinations, but it's also the way he interacts with people, how he captures those authentic moments, you know? It's like he's giving us a glimpse into a world that's hidden from most of us. Like, he's not afraid to show the poverty and the struggles, you know, the shit that most travel vloggers would just, like, completely avoid.
Yeah, true. It's not all, filter and selfies and fancy cocktails.
Exactly. It's like he's saying, look, this is the reality. Deal with it.
And people are eating it up.
They are. And it's not just about the visuals either. It's the way he connects with people. Like, he doesn't just show up, snap a few pictures, and then take off. He actually takes the time to talk to people, listen to their stories.
So he's not just treating these places like a human zoo.
No, not at all. He's really trying to engage with the culture. Even if it means, getting into some pretty dicey situations.
Yeah, we've talked about some of those.
Yeah.
But is it all, like, real? Or is some of it staged for views? Like, you think he's, I don't know, deliberately trying to get arrested or piss off the authorities?
That's a good question. I mean, the dude's got a knack for finding trouble, that's for sure.
He does?
But I think there's a genuine curiosity there too, A desire to push boundaries and see what happens.
Maybe he's just one of those people who attracts drama. Like they're walking around with a kick me sign on their back.
It could be.
Yeah.
But I do think he's genuinely interested in these places and the people and the history. I don't think he's just there to exploit them for clicks.
Okay. So let's talk about the ethics of it all. Is what he's doing exploitative? Is it poverty tourism? Is he profiting off the misfortune of others?
That's a really tough question. There's no easy answer. I mean, some people would say absolutely he is. He's going to these impoverished countries, filming the poverty and then making money from it.
Right.
But then others would say, no, he's giving a voice to the voiceless. He's shining a light on these forgotten corners of the world.
I can see both sides. Like, on the one hand, it's like, hey, man, these people are struggling, and you're turning their lives into entertainment. But on the other hand, maybe he is raising awareness, bringing attention to issues that would otherwise be ignored.
Exactly. And it's not like he's going in there with a condescending attitude either.
Yeah, true.
He's not judging people. He's not looking down on them. He's treating them with respect, even if he doesn't always understand their culture.
Yeah, the dude's got his flaws for sure. He's not exactly a cultural ambassador.
No.
But there is something kind of refreshing about his approach.
Yeah.
It's not all polished and perfect. It's raw, it's real.
Right. And it's not just about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about those unexpected encounters, the cultural clashes, those moments of human connection that just transcend language barriers.
It's like he's saying, look, the world is a messy, fucked up place. But there's also beauty and wonder to be found in the most unexpected places.
Totally. And I think that's what resonates with people. We're all so tired of the curated bullshit, the fake perfection we see on social media. We crave something authentic, even if it's a little rough around the edges.
So Bald and Bankrupt is tapping into that, like, primal need for something real, something unfiltered.
Exactly. He's showing us a side of the world that we rarely get to see, and he's doing it in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
All right. So we've talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. But what about his impact? What kind of influence is this guy having on the world?
Well, for one thing, he's definitely popularizing a type of travel that's off the beaten path. It's not about tourist traps. It's about experiencing a culture. He's showing people that you don't need a fancy itinerary or a trust fund to have an adventure.
He's like the anti-Lonely Planet.
Yeah.
Screw your 5-star hotels and your prepackaged tours. I'm going where the real shit is.
Exactly. He's appealing to this whole growing number of travelers who are just tired of the same old tourist bullshit. They want something more authentic, more immersive, even if it means getting a little uncomfortable.
So he's encouraging people to step outside their comfort zones, to see the world through a different lens.
Exactly. He's showing us that there's more to the world than what we see on Instagram or in travel brochures. There's a whole other world out there waiting to be explored.
But isn't there a risk of, like, romanticizing poverty or hardship? Like, are we just, gawking at these people's struggles?
There's always that risk, yeah. But I think Bald and Bankrupt, for the most part, avoids that trap. He doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of life in these places, but he also highlights the resilience, the kindness, the humor of the people he meets.
So he's humanizing these communities that are often reduced to stereotypes or statistics.
Right. He's showing us that even in the most impoverished or forgotten corners of the world, there's beauty, there's connection, there's life. And that's a pretty powerful message.
Okay. So he's not just a reckless YouTuber with a knack for finding trouble. There's more to this story than meets the eye.
Absolutely. He's a complex and controversial figure, but he's undeniably fascinating. And whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny his impact on the world of travel and beyond.
All right. So we've dissected this bald and bankrupt phenomenon from all angles. What's the final verdict? Is he a hero, a villain, or just a dude with a camera and a knack for finding trouble?
I think I'll leave that up to you to decide. But here's a thought to ponder. If you had the chance to travel with Bald and Bankrupt, would you take it?
Damn. That's a good question. Part of me wants to say, hell yeah, let's get this adventure started. But the other part of me is thinking, maybe I'll just stay home and watch his videos instead.
That's the beauty of it. You can experience the thrill vicariously through his channel. But hey, if you're feeling adventurous, maybe it's time to book a flight to, well, maybe not Chernobyl, but somewhere off the beaten path. Who knows what you might discover?
All right, folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Bald and Bankrupt. We've covered a lot of ground from his controversial antics to his impact on travel and, cultural understanding.
Yeah.
Whether you're a fan or a skeptic, I think we can all agree this guy is one hell of a character, so go check out his channel.
Yeah.
Form your own opinions and let us know what you think. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll be inspired to embark on your own off-the-beaten-path adventure.
Maybe.
But before you book that ticket to Transnistria, let's wrap up this deep dive with one final thought. What do you think?
I think what's most interesting about Bald and Bankrupt is that he really forces us to confront our own preconceived notions about the world.
Yeah, he's not afraid to challenge the status quo, that's for sure.
No, he's not. He shows us that there's beauty and humanity to be found in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from stepping outside our comfort zones, embracing the unknown.
He's like a walking, talking reminder that the world is a big, messy, complicated place and that there's always more to learn and discover.
Totally. So next time you're scrolling through YouTube and you see one of his thumbnails, don't just dismiss it as another crazy travel vlog.
Right.
Take a minute to actually watch it. You might be surprised by what you find. You might learn something new about the world, about yourself, about what it means to be human.
And that's what makes Bald and Bankrupt so compelling. He's not just entertaining us, he's making us think. He's challenging us to see the world differently.
Yeah, I agree. And in a world that's, increasingly divided and polarized, I think that's a pretty valuable thing.
Damn straight. All right, folks, that's it for our deep dive into the world of Bald and Bankrupt. We've laughed, we've cringed, we've learned a thing or two. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ride.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open-minded, and don't be afraid to get a little lost along the way.
Peace out.